ninth grader trying to get an ML internship? Bro, you're already chilling if you're trying to get an in ninth grade. Bro, stop. What's up, Ballint Budjozo? Okay, aerospace configuration is mostly good, but there is kind of a nice OBS Studio always goes to O. Yeah, I don't know. So Ben Shupe. Ben Chappé. I should really... One really good practice I've found is to throw the config... Oh, what's up? Let's see. Homebrew installation config samples. Default config. Yeah, I like just throwing like the URL for the docs at the top of every config file. Although maybe aerospace just has config docs. No, it doesn't. Basically, its man page is just see this URL. It's kind of useless. You look like if Tom Cruise was punched in the face 10 times. Thanks. Appreciate it. This version only available since config version 2. Fallback if you omit the key persistent workspaces. That's cool. I really should be doing math today, but yeah, it would be good to like... look into... I want to make a note of that, actually. Stream. Yeah, stream for each I think that would be interesting. Yeah, you completed the stream title. Now it makes sense. Where in Europe are you from? Okay. That's solid. There's something else. Oh, someone said install Alt-Tab. I don't know if that's what it's called. Alt-Tab. Looks like it was. Alt-Tab. This is allegedly better than... Yeah, okay. Sure. Alt-Tab. There you go. Okay, what does this do? Controls. Oh wow, that's cool. You can see all the open windows. We probably want to set this to Command Tab. Oops. That's nice. Yeah, get out of here, Spotify. Okay, cool. Ooh, that is nice. Yeah, that is way better than... Bro, it's bedtime for us. It's Alt-Tab. Huh. With ethnically Polish. So you do all your nodes and types? Yes. Shoot, yeah, all the Europeans are going to bed. All right, I guess it's time to jump into math. And yeah, sorry, I'm not sure about freelance dev. I'm just not a freelance dev, so I'm not the right person to ask. When's the switch to Linux gonna happen from Sam? This summer, maybe? It's just like, what hardware do I use is the biggest issue. Because I just love Apple's hardware. Especially for laptops. Like, I don't think anyone really comes close. And I might be willing to try Omarchi, yeah. I did a good amount of programming prior to university, I would say. Suppose nootropic qualities of low doses of nicotine. I'm not personally into nicotine just because like the cost benefit ratio, but I'd buy that. I just feel like Ritalin or Adderall, if you're going for a nootropic, is like just gonna blow that out of the water for a fraction of the cost. So that's my take. And I've talked about this before, but you can run Linux on Macs because of the Asahi project. But I don't do that because it's not worth it. It's like, it's not quite there yet last time I checked. Just some things like battery life, you lose a little bit of it, and it's a very impressive project, but it's like the Mac OS is just not that bad. I'm going to be real. And this is how I use it is close to how you would use. It's like the same setup I'd use on Linux. I don't know. It's like I have like a browser. I have my terminal, and that's basically all I need. And like I just need a bootloader for those two things. I don't really care if like the settings GUI looks weird or they spy on you. But I mean, could be. I think just as a learning experience, like switching to Linux would be good eventually. Substances for studying? Not really, no. Arch or Gen 2 with sway. Yeah, it's just like my what I'm interested in isn't really at the operating system level, although it's cool. I appreciate Linux for what it is, and I appreciate the privacy aspects of Linux too. But also, like, my privacy is just already so bad. Being on the internet makes that kind of a non-issue. All right, so I'm probably gonna have to auth to get into my school's learning management. So I'll do that off screen. All right, we're good. Analysis, content, midterm. I want to re-go over a couple of these problems because I'm not fully confident yet. Just drink 2 Red Bulls. I feel like, so for me, caffeine is like a last resort. Like, it's like you only drink caffeine when you're like already studied for 9 hours and you're like, I'm gonna have to do more. Yeah, I probably will build like a Linux desktop at a certain point, honestly. Yeah, running Gen 2 at a CPU cycles to upgrade my own system. Isn't Gen 2 like everything is compiled specifically against each other, so it's like super optimal? Like, isn't that only necessary if you've got like a server that's running like severe infrastructure, like that's like a node in Facebook's server or something? Or like you're running like a Monero node or a Bitcoin node? It could be really annoying. Oh, it's called vague. Vague. $67 people watching the stream, really. Okay, where did I put that? There we go. Prove that any finite set is compact, I think I want to do. I did this yesterday, but it slipped my mind, so I'm doing it again. Fuck it. Have you, wait, Sam, have you taken analysis? You done any math past calc? Past the applied math you need for CS degree, like linear algebra? Okay. A finite set is compact. And compactness, the best way to prove compactness, yeah, so there's a way to prove this at like a meta ontology level. Yes, Alexander's here. Sometimes you look not even human. You always look productive. How do you not? Or do you even procrastinate? I do procrastinate. I read chat all the time. That's procrastinating. Like streaming is extremely like if I were really serious, I should be not streaming as much and just like on one-on-one calls with people that can help me with math. And I do want to bring on those people more often to like calls and stream. I think is probably better than what I'm doing currently for the speed at which I'm learning things, but I think um, for how do you always look productive, not even procrastinate? There's a inflection point where like something becomes fun, and I can feel myself just barely hitting it for math. Like I struggle so much with these math problems, and like I have people basically telling me the answers at this point, and there's still so many things I don't know. But the other day, I felt the progress when I talked to like another one of my classmates, and I was like, oh, I can actually kind of explain some of these things a bit better than some of the other people in my class now. And like, I don't know, I just felt a little bit like, okay, I'm struggling severely to do this like hard deliberate practice. Like it's not really fun for the first big chunk of it, you know, and it's still like only consistently fun or only somewhat consistently fun. It's like, do you want to just struggle really hard all the time? No, that's ass. You want to like, it's way more fun to watch Instagram reels. Not for me personally. I don't like that the culture of Instagram reels, but it's way more fun to just not be doing hard work. But eventually, there's this weird inflection point that I just started to hit recently. I think where it's like I felt this small bit of progress that I've made learning this math, and like it's I can sense there'll come a point where it'll just be fun to consistently do that. Like, and once what you're doing switches from like hard to you kind of want to be doing it, it's kind of fun, which is going to take like a lot of forcing yourself to do it, even when you don't. But I think if you can continue to do that and get to a point where you like actually enjoy it, then it'll switch to being like, uh, I don't know. I know some people that are much further along in this journey, like programmers that hit a point where like they got good enough at learning programming stuff and doing programming that it became like an addiction for them. Like they got addicted to programming, and you just do it nonstop, like you're playing a really fun video game or something. Hmm. That's how I suspect it goes, at least as you age. Cause like if it if it wasn't like that, if it just sucked all the time, would like adults like not kill themselves? Like if your life was just awful and you were an adult, you just end it all, you know? But like adults like get hyper fixated on programming and stuff in their jobs, and then or other things. Like yeah. I'm too lazy to begin. I mean, the fact that you're here watching like a math stream says that you want to begin, and at some point that'll happen. Okay, there's two strategies for proving that RR, any finite set, is compact. And there's a couple definitions of compact. Well, there's the Cauchy, like, or the Highenborel, or something that says, like, compact if and only if bounded and bounded and finite. No. Bounded and closed. So if we can say finite set is closed and bounded, then we're good. But the better way to do this is convergence. So compactness is saying it contains all its limit points and it's bounded. So it is compact Um, I'm hoping to be motivated. Yeah, that's tough, man. I feel you. Motivation is not like. What are you studying for, Ben Shupe? Because motivation is not like the easiest thing in the world sometimes. In fact, it's one of the hardest things. Pulls on a wire Strauss. Oh, I'm late for ski practice. Whatever. We're not doing that today. I'm not doing that today. I hate people that say we when they mean I. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody talks like that except Twitch streamers. Bolzano wire Strauss. Monotone convergence. I want to mark all these. Bookmark Hein Borel. So that's K is compact if it's closed and bounded. EE, electrical engineering. Okay. I just want to say real quick to Ben, like, it's very easy to, like, people don't, I don't know, for me, people don't, like, talk about just how hard engineering and math and stuff can be. And, like, if you go on YouTube, and you're just looking around and there are, like, prodigies around you, make this dark mode, and you're, I don't know, it's easy to feel, like, unmotivated by those things, by doing, like, hard math or computer science or electrical engineering or whatever, especially if you feel like you're doing it to just, like, survive and not thrive. That sucks. I don't know what situation you're in. Maybe that's not your situation at all, and maybe you're more motivated than that. But yeah, for me, that's very hard sometimes. But, like, going to the library and hearing other people that are struggling to do, like, much more basic shit really helps. Like, hearing people complain about having to make, like, a spreadsheet or, like, a slideshow for their business class, you're like, thank God that, like, you feel like, okay, I'm at least in a percent of the population that's, like, using their brain more than, I don't know, that's a terrible way to get motivated, I guess. Yeah. Finite mogs bounded and mogs closed. Can at least have stronger passport. I don't know. Yeah, surrounding yourself with, like, really talented people is, like, a double-edged sword for sure, and it's good to, like, hang out with normal people to remind yourself that you are kind of good at stuff. In general, finite subcover equals gigachad. Sequential compactness is closed and bounded lame. Finite subcover is gigachad. Sequential compactness, closed plus bounded, is lame. However, those are just vibes, and you shouldn't about using an inferior definition. Because Johnny said this to me too. Is finite subcover better because it's, like, a metric definition that's, like, not really dependent on analysis stuff? It's, like, the next level of generality or something. Alexander, get a job, bro. How are you still here? Mm, that's so funny. Yeah, I'm using COEIC. Um, I got demotivated studying this because I don't understand anything. I'm in 10th grade. Bro, what the what the fuck? That's like going and like starting to run and then watching like Usain Bolt or Eliud Kipchoge and being like, "Oh my god, I suck." And then being depressed. I mean, like I'm nowhere near like that level. Like that's like if you were talking to a PhD in math, it would be more like that, but it's like that's a ridiculous thing to do. Um Wait, is Alex Sanchez have a PhD? uh, I'm like a senior in CS with no experience, and this guy in my class didn't know how to use Git or how to set it up. Made me feel a lot better. Yeah, dude, there are some morons out there. Holy shit. Uh, what's the purpose of studying these theories? Are they just training your problem solving skills? Um, yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, like math I think isn't super ideal for computer science. I swing back and forth on this take all the time, but yeah, it's more training your discipline and your ability to like solve hard problems. It's a very very direct way of looking at the world. It's like very low level, very like you study these fields, you study anything really because they model reality, they predict reality, and like if you take a different subject, it's like computer science. I don't know. I generally recommend people that want to code do computer science over math, but yeah, I would say it's really building my discipline and my ability to like I don't know, just keep being persistent with like a difficult problem with a very direct way of expressing it in like a way that can't be wrong. So I think it's building up like I don't know, someone else told me this, it like builds cognitive machinery you're gonna use later. I need to be like to be a good programmer eventually, I need to be like very disciplined and very able to just sit there with hard problems that I don't understand and like break them into small pieces and keep doing it relentlessly. Like I yeah. Um, when they say 90% of startups fail, knowing that there isn't much IQ based selection on startup founders, if you're just two standard deviations smarter than me and your startup should succeed. I don't know that I am in IQ, but that's a good way to look at startups. Um, finite subcover is the only true definition of compactness. Um, I think I get what you're saying. It's a hard degree, and it makes it tough. And there are other people struggling. There are other people struggling. But man, even if your Discord, even in your Discord, people are insane at EE. Um, yeah, it's just tough. Like you know, um, it's just like dealing being the type of person who's like very kind of ambitious and like cares about the subject matter in school and in life in general. Like you're a certain type of personality that like school can be tough with. I know because it's really tough for me sometimes. It's just like really hard to uh, like I go to class sometimes, dude, honestly, and like I cannot pay attention for the life of me. I don't know if it's ADHD, but like it's just like straight up useless for me to go to class. And other times I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to deal with this. This sucks. Um, and like it's not supposed to be easy. Like if it was easy, you wouldn't be getting paid more than the average person. um, yeah, fair enough, Ben. Um, yeah, you're right. You're right. So, okay, Johnny said that to me too. Open cover. Open cover is the best way to do this problem. But open cover. Every open cover for K has a finite subcover. I want to solve it in both ways just to see. I think closed and bounded will be easy enough for me. An open cover of A is possibly a finite collection of sets whose union contains the set A. That is, A is the subset of the union of all the open covers, of all the open sets. Given an open set for A, a finite subcover is a finite subcollection of open sets from the original open cover whose union still manages to completely contain A. So, if every open cover for K has a finite subcover, I guess I'll try that first. Tim Duncan is an underrated chatter. I like that guy. He says funny stuff. He's a regular too. Can you buy me a brush? What do you mean a brush? I think using 2 is easiest for you in this problem. Well, so yeah, there's like... That's what I was... I mean, using 1 would be even easier. That would just instantly solve it. But, yeah, I kind of want to solve it in both ways because both Johnny and Alexander say it's much more Chad to solve it with this one. But closed and bounded was definitely easier for me to understand. Yeah. IQ does play like kind of a big role in things, but I'm not sure about that. So 2 ways to show it's compact. Compact if and if bounded and closed. Every cover has a finite subcover. So if we have a cover, that means our set S is a subset of the union of a bunch of lambdas. What can we say has a finite subcover? Okay. I mean, if F is finite, if S is finite, what is that exactly like? And we have a cover for it. I need to look more carefully at the definition. open cover, possibly infinite, collection of open sets whose union contains the set A. Given an open cover of A, a finite subcover is a finite subcollection of open sets from the original open cover whose union still manages to completely contain A. Okay, that makes like intuitive sense that would work. Given an open cover of A, a finite subcover is a finite subcollection of open sets from the original open cover whose union still manages to completely contain A. So I guess it's important that each one of those sets is open. Union still manages to completely contain A. Finite subcollection of open sets. It's covered by an infinite amount of open sets, but it itself is finite, so there's a finite amount of, like, I mean, I get, like, loosely that makes sense, but, like, rigorously, why is that true? That is, given an open cover of A, a finite subcover is a finite subcollection of open sets from the original open cover whose union still manages to completely contain A. Whose union still manages to completely contain A. Why is that true? Oh my god, a lot of people talking about this. Which is not genetic. Yeah, that's true. You've looked at my finger when I point at the moon. Whenever you were working in RN, it's easier to use 2 like 99% of the time, because for 2 you'll just have to show that every single cover has a finite subcover. That could be a lot of work. That's also what Mirthel. Yeah, I generally preferred that method too. You can get smarter in every way that matters. I'm thinking, do I consider myself smarter than 9 out of 10 startup founders? How pretentious would that assumption be? That's true. Apply the definition of a cover to individual elements and then construct the subcover. It being finite will show you have a finite set. Apply the definition of a cover to individual elements and then construct the subcover. It being finite from you will follow from you having a finite set. Cover to individual elements and then construct the subcover. Finite subcollection. It being finite will follow from you having a finite set. I'm not sure yet about that. Maybe there's some underlying hardware level where you're actually trying to improve, but I've seen people get smarter by actually applying their brains, etc. I think that's way absolutely the case. 100%. Because, I don't know, I think it's like working out. It's like, IQ can matter, for sure, but I don't think I have super high IQ, honestly. And it seems like that's like people saying, like, oh, my bicep tendon isn't like short, so I'm never gonna be like, I I can't be Mr. Olympia, or I can't, like that's like blaming. Sure, genetic factors will be a problem if you're like at the cutting edge, but like the amount you can learn from applying your brain is just massive. Um, does existence of a late bloomer disprove IQ is fixed? Blah 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 blah. Look up Dirichlet function. Continuous and discrete measurements can't be integrated. Schrodinger is an example where. Not sure about that one, dog. So like O3 covers 1, 2. Okay. The environment matters. Yeah, environment is very important. Nerve simulation. I think like IQ matters to some degree, but it's not like it's not like the determinant of your success by any means. I think far more important is like getting on a treadmill of like kind of getting addicted to learning, and like getting to a point where you do it consistently. Dickerlay. Good environment, buddy. It's just who you are as a person. Dickerlay. Derschley, whatever. It's not even a cap in the real sense. There's a lot of yeah, you're right, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Why am I debating with these fools? Ben's a real one. You're just watching to make me do work? Come on, man. Alright, so like I don't find this the most intuitive in the world to prove this in the more general sense. So I'm going to try proving it in the way that is easier for me, which is bounded and closed. And if something is bounded, well, if it's finite, then it's pretty clearly bounded. I mean, there's only a certain number of elements, so we can just choose an element outside of that as a bound. And closed contains all its limit points. Contains all of its limit points. I guess for new people. Bounded and closed. I don't exactly know why. And it's closed if it contains all its limit points. Okay, well, okay, a set if an converges in a finite set S, it must eventually be constant and if it's eventually constant, and it's in S, it's got to visit everything and then eventually be constant, which means it's going to be just some constant in S, which is, so S contains all its limit points and is closed. But boundedness, I kind of just hand waved through, to be honest. I'm not really sure about that. In R. Oh, balls is here. I just think of a finite set as a union of singleton sets. Oh my god, dude! Mithril sub Mithril SB. Yeah, Mithril SB. That's like a line of straight gold. Holy shit, dude. Thank you. That's going right in the cheat sheet. Finite set is a union of singletons. Union of singletons. And then you can prove that it's closed. Because, yeah, it contains all its limit points. Finite unions of closed sets are closed sets. Finite unions of closed sets are closed sets. Yeah, what's up? What's up, Marcus? Sure is a relief. Am I reading Abbott? Yeah, I am. It's just raging debate about IQ, though. That is gold, though. Thinking about finite union of sets. Finite union of singleton sets. Does that help with the other method? I feel a little shaky about the first method, but Every cover has a finite subcover. Every cover has a finite subcover. So finite, it's a finite union. We have a finite set. Finite union of singletons. And every cover has a finite subcover. Oh, and then then do you just say like choose as a finite subcover or construct, I guess? Like just all those singletons? Like all if you just take all of those singletons and the union of them, like it just is as the union of covering sets contains each of the finitely many points in S. Union of covering sets contains each of the finitely many points in S. For each S in S, there must be at least an open set from the open cover containing S. Let's call let's call SOS as O is open. There exists an open ball around each of its points that's fully contained in S. Basic idea of the finite subcover proof. As the union of covering sets contains each of the finitely many points of S. Union of covering sets, then for each S in S, there must be at least an open set from the covering containing S. There must be at least an open set from the covering containing S. Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah. Okay. At least an open set. So yeah, we're mapping to all these open sets. Let's call that set OS. As OS is open, there exists an open ball around each of its points. Also S around. That's fully contained in OS. Yeah. Choose one such ball around S and repeat that for all finitely many other elements of S. Congratulations, you found a finite open subcover. Wow. So, S is finite. Let's go to the end here. See if I understand that. Because, yeah, is that complete? I don't know. If S is finite, well, if S has an open cover, then for every S in S, there exists an open set OS in the open cover. Union of covering sets contains each of the finitely many points of S. Union of covering sets. For each S in S, there must be at least an open set from the covering set. For every S in S, there exists an open set in the covering set. Okay. Let's call that O of S. As O is open, there exists an open ball around each of its points. There exists an open ball around each of its points. Yeah. That is fully contained in S and OS. Choose one such open ball around S and repeat that for all the finitely many elements of S. Congratulations, you have an open subcover. Construct an open subcover using the corresponding open sets for each of the finitely many elements of S. So for each of them, you're going into the full cover we have and using an epsilon ball of the element, and that's your finite subcover. And it's finite because there's finitely many S's. And each of those... Okay, damn, people are talking up the IQ debates. Thank you for that. You're not allowed to construct a subcover. You have to, prove that for any cover I choose, you could construct a finite one by removing some elements. Man, where have you been, dude? For some reason, Mithril's chats are just hitting different. This guy is... Why is everyone so smart here? You should always use high and boral for Rn. Mention nothing about it being in everyday life. That's so smart. Okay, we got an absolutely raging debate going on. Playing with balls today? You mean balls the guy or balls the thing? Just TA'd a real analysis course, so it's fresh in my mind. Damn, dude, TAing real analysis is... Are you a grad student? So that doesn't work. But for an arbitrary, if you give me a finite cover, if it has an open cover, then for every S and S there exists an open set in the open cover. Well, that's not necessarily a true statement. What is a true statement? If S is an open cover, then for every S in S, S in OS, S, for every S in S, S is contained in some open set in the cover. It's contained in some open set in the cover. And then from there, because it's contained in an open set, we can say because let's say O of S. Because O S is open, any epsilon ball will be contained so for each of the finite many S in S, choose the epsilon neighborhood of S. Well, the epsilon neighborhood of each of the S is form finite subcover. Is that correct? Yeah, typed is a lot like Markdown, actually. It's I would say it's like a mix of Markdown and LaTeX. It's easier to write like Markdown-y stuff. Extremely uncomfortable to bring up. Some people are more capable than others. It's called typedpreview.nvim. That was the idea described indeed. Yes! They have outdated guidelines. Mithril, what's your, maybe I missed it. I asked if you were a grad student. What's your story? I'm a senior math major. Okay. Yeah, you're a smart guy. It's typespreview.nvim. One does not need to find the epsilon ball. Yeah, creativity is actually a huge one. That's what I feel like. I feel like I lack. Like, my analytic problem solving skills are okay, but I have decently good creativity. Like, I don't feel super IQ-licious, but creative, yeah, I can churn out some kind of weird things people haven't really seen before. Not quite sure what the epsilon ball thing means. If you remove that line, the argument works. The O's are in the finite subcover. All right, I guess that's not necessary. The union of these all right. Proof I have no balls. Oh, if someone was asking about the specific plugin, I mean, I honestly just need to make another video on this. This is kind of, it's getting ridiculous at this point. Maybe I can just, method 3, balls with method 3. Man, I love how there are people that actually know this math in this stream. It's not all like morons. Yeah, and I agree. I'm an ass for this unnecessary debate. Man, I've always wanted to like make a just like an edit or something of like my comment section versus like the Fox News comment section or something where it's like people just like screaming back and forth at each other about like just outrageous things, and like there's no heed to logic whatsoever. And then my comment sections are like people going back and forth with like 3 paragraphs of like meticulously researched stuff that's like logically coherent, and then like in the end, even if they disagree, both people are like, I'm sorry I was disrespectful to you, your opinion is valid. Like there are lots of trade-offs to these things. It's just so funny like how much more people are using their brains. All right, method 3, let an be a sequence in S finite, then has finitely many an equal to the same point, A, so the subsequence converges to A star. Has finitely many an equal to the same point, so the subsequence converges to A star. I mean, yeah, it's fine if you don't understand math. Different disciplines. Every continuous func from R to R from S, bed, if and only if, C, I don't even know what you're saying, bro. BDD, not bed. I'm not sorry. This is part of the problem. I think it's important to air disagreements, etc. But I'm Bonn. I'm at Bonn, so it's the best place when it comes to math in Germany. Could be worse elsewhere. I think they care more about mathematical maturity here. Bonn. Is that a good school? It looks pretty nice. Jeez. Shit, I'd live there, yeah. Maybe I'll do a Bonn meetup. I do want to travel around sometime and like meet all the math people from this channel. Like doing like a tour of Europe would be really cool. Make your argument in 2 for boundedness more rigorous. It needs one more sentence. Pick highest element and then construct the set. M negative M. In 2. Make your argument in 2 for boundedness more rigorous. Needs one more sentence. Pick highest element and then construct negative MM. Why negative M though? What if it's not negative? I want to go to Bonn. Yeah, but it's in the city, isn't it? Dude, no, Germans are so funny. German people are the funniest. What do you mean? Just their accents and stuff, and like how they like acknowledge that they're like hyper efficient. I fucking love German humor. It's maybe the best. This whole don't go comp sci, go physics math because that's where all the quants go, bro type situation reminds me of ThinkPad shilling same people, different topic. I don't need to be a quant to be happy, but Olympiads in high school, but during undergrad they let you attend a prep course in the first. The picking of one epsilon ball for each S that is guaranteed to exist by the openness of S is the prescription for constructing the finite subcover. That's kind of what I think too. You think that's necessary, YT-SCA137? To pick the highest element in absolute value, not just the greatest element. Pick in absolute values. Order your union of singletons. Take first and last. That's smart. Boundedness. Typically, though, I don't really need additional money. Interesting. For one thing, though, finite subsets are compact even if they aren't subsets of R, where you don't have notions of epsilon balls. Oh, Leo. Never met someone who wasn't a quant and happy. You definitely don't need the epsilon balls. Because here we have real analysis in your first semester as undergrad, so if you don't have a good foundation, you'll struggle. For one thing, finite subsets are compact even if they aren't subsets of R. Yeah, that's a good point. Haven't done differential geometry yet. Might make an Axe Grothendreek video tomorrow. Wait, do you have a channel, Leo? Hold on, I gotta pee. I'll be back. Union. I mentioned it because the union of all these form a finite subcover is not necessarily true for all open covers because there could be infinitely many. Oh, wait. True. The union of all these form a finite subcover is not necessarily true for all open covers because there can be an infinite amount of those sets, you mean? Because like an X could belong to multiple of them, or an S could belong to multiple of them. I don't know. Leo Lectures has a channel. Was he here doing promotion the whole time? Leo Lectures. Hit that sub. I think my unhook is on. Nope, it's off. My U-block, second layer of YouTube protection for ultimate focus is on. Damn, 8 hours ago, this channel is active. Yo, this is sick. Go drop some subs on this guy's channel. As many as you can. This guy is sick. Which set operations actually matter? Union is great. That's so funny. Ass. Oh, only sub if you want to see the videos. That's facts. Yeah, don't kill his algorithm. Don't do that otherwise. That's so awesome. Essential-ish. That's so funny. Oh my god. I gotta watch this. Yeah, you should. Alright, I have to go for dinner pretty soon. I could maybe fit another question in, but... ZFC is fake. Cool. Don't know what you guys are doing here. Yeah, that's awesome, man. If you can get addicted to problem solving and like doing, if you get addicted to doing this stuff, then like your life is just, it's gonna be easy, man. You're smooth sailing. And just keep doing it. Like, it doesn't matter how hard the stuff you're doing is. It more matters like how much you enjoy it. The nice thing about not using the Hein-Borel proof for this is that it will also work in finite subsets in any topological space, not just R. So the bottom proof is just more powerful. You know what's weird though is like my textbook says, oh guys, check this shit out. This is so fire. If you do GB in this PDF reader, you can like search up different bookmarks, then I can just jump right to Hein-Borel. But I think typically Hein-Borel isn't these three things. I think it's like usually only these two things, and they throw in this third one for some reason. But I could be wrong. It's maybe what my professor told me. That a subset of Euclidean space is compact if and only if it's closed and bounded. Yeah. They just threw that one in there. Honestly, I would have preferred you spent the last 2 hours just saying IQ yes or IQ no. Doing math is gross. Yo, you know Conrad is a real one when he's got the Dune profile picture from that edition of Dune with the blue pages. That's your profile picture, right? Blue pages. That shit's awesome. But also you moved the goalpost. I believe I cited measure theory as the only time you might use delta for symmetric difference. Still don't know anything about Dune to this day. Alright, the raging IQ debate is back. I'm not sure I care. Oh man. Dude, this ayahuasca is about to hit crazy. Oh. Alrighty. Back to the midterm list. Do not shake that bottle off screen. What's wrong with that? Is this the final math class you're taking? Do you plan to do more afterwards? Because that probably should dictate what you focus your attention on. So that's a really interesting question for me, actually, because the way my major is set up for math, like I've completed essentially the requirements except for topology. So I can take for my classes that fill out my major, like computer science, statistics, or math classes. And so I'm kind of interested in taking more math classes. But I don't know. There's a couple like classic computer science classes I'd like to take, like algorithm design. I haven't taken operating systems either. And probably like, I don't know, theory of machine learning would be good to take as well. But topology is like my capstone class that's required. And then there's a couple other math classes like chaos would be cool to take. How do you catch up when 6 weeks behind? That's a tough question. I'm afraid the answer is like you just have to go as hard as you possibly can. Like, I don't know. When I was in the library yesterday, I met this girl who was just like actually serious about studying, and she was studying way more than me. She was like getting 5 hours of sleep a night and just studying all day. And I'm like relaxedly solving a math problem on stream like once every 20 minutes. It's possible to grind really hard. It's just like miserable, I guess, unless you get used to it. Guys, stop debating IQ. So I would just go, you could just study really hard for a few days. It'll be brutal, but I'll still be studying. If you want to study, yeah, just study here on stream. Also, like, you might not be as behind as you think you are. It depends on your school and how serious they are, but I don't know. AlphaGo harmless. You could consider taking algebraic number theory afterwards if you enjoy math. It has some cryptography applications as well if you care about that sort of stuff. Yeah, that would be really cool. I'm taking like basic elementary number theory right now. and it's pretty fun. Yeah, I have COYEC on Apple Silicon, and it crashes occasionally, but it did compile. Did you try to build it from source? I like Brew installed it. COYEC. Have you done much group theory? I've done group theory, yeah. I did abstract algebra, but honestly, what happened is like the teacher let us pass that class very easily, and I took the easy out because there was other stuff I was working on at the time, and I shouldn't have done that. I would like to recover. Like feelings, but I did group theory and like some problems with that. Reread this argument and pertain to your hymn. I think there's a bit of ego involved in both of your messages. Who are you talking to? Oh, it's this just fight. This fight between these two guys. Fights are good for engagement, I guess. Yeah, I'll be catching up on my uni stuff later. I have exams soon, man. I hope I am not behind as I think I am. I hope so too, for your sake. Name every group, but there's infinite of them. Group theory is really fun. Yeah, I'd love to redo some math. Honestly, what happens if I don't end up taking math, certain math classes? Like, I have this YouTube channel for the rest of my life, like every summer all the way up until I'm like in my 70s or whatever. I could just be like learning different math class every summer. Like, there's nothing to stop you from just self-teaching textbooks, like, especially that I know people like grad students and stuff that'll give me the tips on what textbooks are good. Like, I have like my whole life to learn math, and it's not like I'm going to make any meaningful contributions to the field. I'm not like 300 IQ. My liquid intelligence can dry up after I turn 25, and that's okay. Like, I can just study it for the enjoyment of it very slowly over the course of my life. Let's see. This is just the nerdiest fucking chat I've ever seen in my life. My surprise in learning about quantum computing is when you can do quantum Fourier transform on more or less every finite group. Well, you can sort of classify the finite groups into classes. Okay. Thompson's group is a deep cut. Pretty hard imagining personal project courses versus uni stuff. I could go all in on uni, but that's not cool, dude. Could go all in projects, but I'm behind a bunch of weeks. I feel that, Arctic, actually, quite a lot. This is for Arctic, like, there's some sense in which having your own personal projects and stuff, like, feels a lot better to do. And it's like, I just feel better in life when I'm doing personal projects and I'm doing things that are like not typical of what my classmates are doing. And I guess maybe that's kind of just an ego thing, but I don't know. It is what it is. That's how I feel. And I feel that a lot too with school, where I'm like, this is hard for me to focus on because it's not as cool. But you gotta just look at, like, how big picture, like, just have faith in the process. Like, school has a lot of fucking dumb shit with it, but, like, knowing this math stuff, it really does shape your brain in a different way. And I'm barely qualified to say that because I'm, like, not nearly as far as Alexander or, I don't know, Lemon Leaf or some of these other people and newer rock at analysis or Leo lectures. But it's just like focusing on your school is, you can get really, you need like strong foundational knowledge if you want to do something serious. Freedom for personal projects. Spend a few hours configuring NeoVim after discussing on your previous stream. Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, yeah. Yeah. Good to see you outside K-theory. K-theory reference. I guess everyone's just doing the circuits of the math content creators. I don't know. I streamed a lot of hours today. I would say the crux of many fields is math. So being good at math will help you in a lot of other fields. I would tend to agree with that too. Yeah, I like K-theory a lot. It's just hard to do everything as you've said it before. There's no free lunch. Aggressive prioritization would be the key. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. One thing also that I think a lot of the time, how much do I study off stream? A bit, not a ton. I do most of my other classes off stream, I would say. Analysis I've mostly done on stream. But like a lot of the rest of my day is like social obligations and like chores, like grocery shopping and stuff. What's your phone number? We can't explain it in text. Who is Ben Gugazi? PhD in functional analysis. Wow, I am tackler. But good luck. PhD in functional analysis. Awesome. Glad to have you here. Do you teach somewhere? But no, I was saying something about Penguin. About like prioritizing different things. Yeah, and there's no free lunch. Yeah. There's sometimes I feel like things aren't moving fast enough for me. Like I'm not learning enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not like, I don't know. My journey isn't progressing fast enough. I'm not building towards mastery as fast as I would like. And like, so I run around just like chasing all these different things, but it's like the road is inherently slow and it just takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. And like, you got to just be okay with that. It's a real struggle to be, but. Interestingly, just by watching you spend hours on a problem, I feel more motivated to study on my own stuff. It's a parasocial thing, but it's an interesting dynamic. Accountability. Yeah, and like I don't want to fucking be doing this shit, dude. But yeah, the reality is like studying for hard stuff can be hard and bad sometimes. Like not everyone has reached that inflection point where they enjoy it, and I think yeah, a lot of. What's your social security? So I can't explain in text. Do you recommend this? Considering I'll have 6 hours of calculus. Being consistent is much more important than burning out. Absolutely. Yeah, I felt the same thing before rushing through stuff to get my ADHD dopamine hits. Absolutely, dude. So relatable. I think the thing about the philosophy of not planning life and living should be a thing of the past. The world has advanced so much, and we still take some random geek's word for it. What do you mean exactly? Most productive people manage their lives like companies. And companies are managed using metrics, history, and data. That's an interesting take, actually. The problem I'm working on now is not one, but I'll get to one. But I wanted to just... this is the midterm list. I want to look at the midterm example. Manage their lives like companies, and companies managed by metrics. What if we could index every notable person's life and build a tool to strategize for you? Certainly interesting. Interesting idea. Axler in his textbook state that one page of his textbook should take you about an hour. Oh, how do you... This isn't the midterm. This is just an example. It's an extension called Dark Reader. And New Rock. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. People who manage their lives like companies. I wish I had more like... I don't know. I feel like that's something I need to be better at. It's like... I know I have friends who like absolutely keep track of everything they do, and they like journal about how they're feeling every day, and they like just have spreadsheets of like all their exercise and shit. Like they just they're like basically managing their body and mind like they're separate. Like, which I kind of like the concept of. It's like your mind just kind of is controlling this little guy who's just like this flesh bag with certain desires and needs, and then you just like you run that little flesh bag like a company. You're like, okay, it's got to exercise, it's got to eat certain things, it's got to sleep at certain times, and then like I'm just the the neocortex that's like controlling this whole thing from the outside. Most people are driven by what life decides. At the moment I ask a matrix-sized friend about it, they dismiss it as over-optimization. Michael Phelps read about... Yeah, but just like reading about what successful people do isn't... Spent the last 5 years on the page. Just do stuff and move on. That's kind of what I think too. I don't journal, but... Trying to get into math research? No, I'm just an undergrad guy. I don't really know what I'm doing long term. Sadly, I'm not good at binary operations and assembly now. I spend so much time yak shaving. I do that. Then you can run a ton of data analysis. So what kind of ways do you collect data about your life? I think I am going to start a podcast. Well, what do you guys think about this? I'm just yapping at this point. I'm going to eat dinner pretty soon, so I'm done with problems for now, but I might stream later tonight too. But... because I'm going to hop off in 10-20 minutes. So I would be interested in like a podcast about programming and about math in general, just, you know, about the general sphere of things like people like us are interested in. But like I would like to interview people in a way where it's like they get to show off all their projects, who they are, if they're a math person, like what kind of research they do, or like what they're working on, or what that field is like, and what the meta is in that field right now and stuff. And because I feel like a lot of the podcasts with tech people on them are like you bring them on, or like I really do not like Lex Friedman, for instance, but or like I don't know, Woocash podcast, or there's a couple other that bring people on and they ask like I don't know, like kind of broad life advice questions, and like those are cool, they're very palatable, but like I don't want life advice as much as I want to just like sit down with someone, have them screen share and be like, okay, what are you working on, this and this and this and this, like why are you doing that, oh because this, like I just want someone to screen share and show like a whole kind of showcase of like what they're working on and why. I feel like that would be really interesting. So yeah, I've just like found a few different people that I want to have initially as guests, and then I'll just like invite them on and get like I don't know, like an overview. Fortnite Friday, but for math. Yeah, I would be interested in getting math majors on as well as people with programming projects. Oh wow, yeah, you Leo Lectures has done that. I think that would be quite an interesting. Uh, if you want some functional analysis insight, I'm down, dude. Awesome. Like, send me an email. And I think what's up, USAT Nyan? Operator algebras, cool, man. Yeah, I would be down to do that. Was I ever into competitive programming? Like briefly, not a lot. I wouldn't say into. Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm gonna go eat dinner, and then I'll be back later, solve a few more problems. Actually, be more serious about solving problems.